All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the July 31st community call slash mini Q2 report. Pretty excited to be here. I'm joined today by our DevRel, David, and our co-founder, Yessi. So these gentlemen are going to be talking about some cool stuff we've been doing these last couple of months and what we're doing right now. And generally trying to, well, let you know what's going on in the background, other than those things I already announced usually. Anyway, so here's a quick summary of what the call is going to be about. This one's going to be a bit longer because we switched it up a little bit. The team calls that we usually do at the end of them, we decided to separate them completely. So they're going to be happening at another time. They're going to be down the road. I'll get you some more updates on when these calls are going to be happening, but they're not going to be at the same time during the call. They're going to be separate things. So both are going to be longer because people seem to enjoy that a lot more. Anyway, first, we're going to start off with product updates. We'll give you what's been going on the last couple of months on the side of Nosana. We've been doing a lot of things in the background for both hosts and clients. Those who might have been using the dashboard have definitely noticed some changes, but for those who just want to listen in and see what's new, you're going to see some cool stuff. Events, we're going to tell you all about where we've been. We've been to many places all around Europe and even further than that. The builders challenges, we did a couple of them, and we're going to show you some cool metrics that we have from them. And the last part, which shouldn't be which shouldn't be here, is the AMA and poll, but we don't have a poll today because we already had it a couple of weeks ago and we already know what the next theme for the call is going to be. So let's just go straight into the product updates, and our main man Yessi is going to cover some of these. Take the stage.
Perfect. Yeah, happy to do so. I'll cover all these updates on the list here. I think it's this part is one of the more exciting ones for me. Like I think the last quarter we've done so much things. Like if you look at the improvements on the platform on what you can do with Nosana today compared to like 3 months ago, it's just overall an incredible upgrade. Like I would recommend anyone to just try it out. If you haven't tried Nosana for 3 months and you try it now, it's going to be a completely different experience. Like the team is working incredibly hard and we're really listening to all the users, what they're doing on the platform, the issues they encounter, and always try to improve it. So like the overall takeaway here is that there's just so much a shit ton of improvements that have happened in this little amount of time that is definitely worthwhile to experience yourself. But not to miss anything, I'll go over the list that's there on the slide. By the way, guys, if mainly Dennis, if there's anything you want me to basically go into a bit more detail, just let me know. Or if there's a question, yeah, feel free. We can keep it a bit interactive
I'll keep an
as
eye out.
well. Yeah, about interactive, so that the dashboard is getting really more feature rich. So it's a whole new experience now. If you're either a node or a client using our dashboard, you have a lot of features there. Like it can predict your expenses for the month. You can see what you spend over a certain amount of time in like these pretty graphs that you see there on the screenshot. So the whole experience for someone logging in and looking into the numbers of what's being run has improved a lot. You can like look over certain time frames and like kind of what you would expect from a more feature rich billing dashboard for cloud providers that cloud providers offer. Similar stuff is now available on Nosana, which I think is it's amazing. One of the bigger user improvements that people are happy about. Um, Next up, the stability improvements. I remember this was one of the main things I talked about in like two community calls ago. I think because it is one of the pillars that the team is focusing on. I think at any call we're gonna go over this. It sounds a bit boring, but just to reiterate, stability is one of the core things that we're trying to maintain at Nosana. What our team is doing, I think, is one of the most important things right now in the industry, in the tech industry, which is making compute affordable and accessible without relying on the tech giants for artificial intelligence. I think this is going to be one of the cornerstone pillars that we need for a healthy and a good society. But to achieve this, we need to build on blockchain technology, and there's a lot of technical hurdles that we need to overcome in order to be successful at this job. And the main one is stability. Building on blockchain and having to be decentralized, meaning that we're building this system in a way that Nosana is not in any way capable of basically cheating or abusing or oppressing our users. Computers should be free for anyone to use. That's our mission. And it goes at cost of stability. So our team is every day fighting to make our platform as stable as all the others, like as what corporate clients are used to. Clients that are using AWS and that are using DigitalOcean, they're used to extremely stable products because they are basically run by one big company in a huge factory filled with GPUs or compute. So we're trying to achieve that same experience, and it's going better and better. Our team has built a very nuanced monitoring software recently. This is a new thing that came out, but we can really, in a lot of detail, see a lot of metrics about the network, like the latency of the Solana network. We can see it at any time. We can see how hosts are performing. We have all this real-time information to make our network really stable, and we are using that now to push the numbers up. We're already very proud that we are in mainnet and clients are using our network, and we are stable enough to make that happen, to run production workloads right now in the network. So that's incredible. Like we want to go to the level where banks and insurance companies and governments will be like very comfortable to run on Asana. And to get there, you need to go from that 90% to the 99% of stability that we're chasing, actively, of course. We'll go to the next one on the list. So our dashboard, like I mentioned, has many updates, but one of the nice, cool ones might have been mentioned before, but this is one that you will definitely notice when you try our platform, is that we have a special chat interface for anyone that launches LLMs. So that's one of the main use cases of Nosana, is like companies that are launching their own LLM models or that are using existing LLM models with a twist on our network. And when you do that now, there is this new feature where any LLM that you spin up, because they normally they have like a certain technical like similarity. They have this API that is similar to all the LLM models. You will be able to interact with it straight away from the dashboard. So it gives early users a way to see if the LLM works, to get a feeling for the tokens per second and performance on the card that they choose, without having to spin up an interface themselves. So it's this convenience thing where you launch an LLM, boom, you can chat with it, you can see that it works before you proceed to integrating this into your product. Very nice feature that many of you, if you test out the platform, will have fun playing around with. Many more improvements to our deployments have happened. Deployments are the core element in Nosana. Deployment is anything that a client runs on our network. So these are the units of work that our network uses, like at its core. There's a lot of improvements made to deployment. So either like the user interface of seeing and exploring deployments, but also how to write deployments and define them, like the syntax we have for that. All of that has been greatly improved. A new thing I slightly mentioned already, but we have now a host space as well. So previously we had a client page where client can see its spendings. A completely new feature that recently came out is that a host, someone that runs GPUs, can see his earnings in the dashboard. So you have like also some graphs, and you can see how long have you been online, what is your performance and your earnings over time. So it's very nice for all the hosts in the network. We have a new system that monitors the uptime of hosts, like very related to stability and performance, is that we want hosts to be very, very good. So we want clients that run workloads to be matched with actual hosts that have all the characteristics that the client expects, like when it comes to bandwidth, to hardware, but also to uptime. So how long can you be online as a provider on the network? So we have new metrics there that are visible, but also that clients can target for like hosts that are online for very long amounts of time and that don't experience much downtime. That's a new metric that's embedded in the network, and a very important one that we've released. Another cool update, the guaranteed rewards. These I think mentioned before as well, but they are very cool, because what this allows is that providers can get a certainty that they will earn a certain amount of NOS for being available on the network. So they can basically be assured of, for example, a small income if they dedicate their GPU, independent if there's clients using it. We used to have a pretty like insecure model where you would only get paid if someone uses your GPU, but then you're so reliant. If the network is very busy, you would earn a lot, and then if there's like a week of no users or like less usage, you would earn less. This dampers out a little bit now, so we can provide a sort of a certainty that you earn a little bit if you're available, and then when clients come on board, you will earn more. This will allow us to basically have a better baseline compute availability that in return like will provide clients with more certainty of what they can run and result in more clients, so we can get that flywheel going and grow both sides of the network. Final item here on the list. I know it's a lot, almost doesn't fit on the slide, but we have confidential jobs that have been deployed and that are becoming more of a standard now actually on the network. Confidential jobs means that the model that you're running, actually like the whole job definition that you are currently deploying on the network will be invisible to outside eyes. Which before the default would be that people can sort of see what you're running. They cannot actually see your inferences or stuff, but they can see, this guy is running like Llama 3 for this amount of time. We're going to make this confidential still in a decentralized way, but you won't be able to see what people are running in detail anymore. This is of course important because we want to ensure privacy, especially as more and more companies start using this network for important workloads. We want to make sure we provide them the privacy required. So this is becoming more of a default to have confidentiality in the things that you deploy to a higher level. Dennis, handing it back to you. If there's anything you want me to, or if there's any questions that come to mind, feel free to shoot. But I think this covers the majority of the cooler updates we've done over the past few months.
Yeah, I think that was well. I was done compiling the slides, but I think we covered most of the important ones we did over the last couple of months. There were still a couple of tiny ones here and there, but these were the very cool ones. And I encourage basically anyone on this call and anyone who might be listening to our YouTube recordings later to just go to the dashboard themselves and check it out, because there's a lot of cool things happening all around. Like I said, there's something for hosts, there's something for clients, there's something for people just looking around. There's a couple of cool things to look at, so definitely check it out. But we're also gonna talk about something else, because we talked about a lot of things that we've been doing before, but we're also gonna change the topic and focus on what we're actually doing right now, which is actually the next slide. So yes, that's also you, if you want to continue. I think people are excited to hear what we're working on currently and in the near future maybe.
Let's start with something that actually it got deployed today. It's brand new, but it's it's still in the works. But the first feature got deployed today, which I think is the most exciting one, and it's the one that people can notice the soonest, which is that you can log in with a Google account to the dashboard. This has been like one of the features we've been working on for a very long while, and we realized has been one of the major reasons why perhaps 95% of the normal tech companies will never use a product like Nosana as it was before, is because they're not going to install MetaMask or Phantom in their browser in order to try out their product. Like a huge hurdle for normal non-blockchain users to have to do that. So with this new update, you can basically log in or register with your Google account without needing to log in with any crypto wallet. It also means that you will be able to deploy stuff. This is still in the works, but you're getting some alpha here. A little bit that you will be able to deploy stuff and run things without needing Sol or not directly in your wallet. You don't have to go to an exchange and get that, do KYC and buy cryptos and put it in your wallet, which obviously is not an experience people are down for if they just want to run some important GPU workloads, right? That's the thing on their mind, not to go on some exchanges. Anyways, this is a very important feature that it's seeing the light now, the very first step. Behind the login with Google. So we start with Google. Obviously, we're going to have more login options, and we want people to have that, like I said before, just the normal experience of going to a cloud provider at Nosana. That's what we're going for. So we will have more login options there. But behind this system, there will be a lot more that is going to be rolled out in the very near future. That, yeah, it's one of the more important ways to grow the network now. But how can you top up your account? That's these are the things we're working on now. So at the end of the road, we want people to be able to top up with credit cards. But what we're starting with now is that we're going to work on a credit program, so people can get credits or apply for credits on the network for a certain dollar amount, and they will be able to get that compute credited to their accounts and use and test the network, which is great for demos. It's great for hackathons. It's also great to onboard early users, get them give them a feeling of how good the platform is, like getting cheap GPUs on demand with like all these higher end models that are on Nosana is like it's a beautiful experience, and we want people to have that experience and run their workloads. Even being able to pay for like 30 minutes for 5090 it's cost so little. It allows students and so many people to just try out a simple workload that they are not able to do anywhere else. Like it's a unique experience that we can offer all these people. So that's what the credit system is going to do. It's going to introduce them to that convenience. They will be able to do that without having to buy crypto, which, like I said, is the major hurdle that was holding that back. And that's the credit system that the team is currently working on. You're going to hear a lot more about this in the coming weeks and months. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek of what's coming up, but you'll definitely hear more about it, and you also get a chance to apply for credits and stuff later on. But yeah. I'm already saying too much here. I'm gonna move on to the next of these things that are what we're brewing in the Nosana kitchen. Also very important for the network is the deployment manager. We've touched on the topic before. It's really coming to a point where we're almost releasing this. The deployment manager, just to explain again what it does, it will give people the option to run deployments on Asana for unlimited amounts of time and make them scalable. So you will be able to run deployments that are not just on one GPU, and like if you run something now, you're basically you get assigned to one GPU, and you kind of have to make sure that if the GPU wants to go offline, that you go to another GPU. And if you want to have resilience, so if you want to be protected against an energy outage or something, you have to basically make sure that you run your workloads on two GPUs. And that's kind of a whole difficult thing that you have to juggle with as a client. Or deployment manager does that for you. So you can basically say, listen, I have this workload. I want to run it there. I want to run it there. If like one of these nodes wants to go offline, I want it to be migrated to a different area. All of this you can get automated for you. So that's once again something that people are used to in the cloud. Like when they use AWS, they expect this kind of behavior. That is difficult to do in the Nosana network, as we are decentralized and distributed, right? We don't have a couple data centers that we own that we can just assign stuff to. We have all these hosts around the world. But the deployment manager makes that possible. So this is a huge feature coming out soon that will allow for like a great amount of flexibility in what mainly companies and the larger companies can host on the network in a very resilient, stable way. Like they won't notice that they're running this across the globe in smaller data centers and in individual racks. It will feel like a cloud experience. Next, the advanced job definitions is something that is also in the works. What I just mentioned is that people write job definitions on Asana in like these JSON files. So a job definition is basically anything you want to run on the network. If a company wants to run Llama or DeepSeek, he will have to write like a little definition file that describes what he's going to do. We have a format for this on Asana to do that in a concise way. So there's documentation for it, and you can write these definitions yourself. But they're getting more advanced. And one of the features we've now added is that you can have multiple exposed endpoints in your job definition. Very useful for clients that have slightly more advanced workloads. It allows you, for example, to run like a user interface to an LLM, but also an API endpoint, and maybe a health check that is going to be exposed to the outside. So before this update, you were only able to expose one thing, and it was kind of tricky to get the more complicated workloads on there. Now you can expose 3 different ports to the outside world. Very useful for clients that have a slightly more advanced type of workloads. Lastly, I think very cool as well. This is the one tool that's aiding toward decentralization. As I said before, I think what sets Nosana apart is our decentralization. I don't think there's another project in the GPU space that is as decentralized as we are, and we want to keep it that way. So what we've developed now and what's going to come see the light in the next few weeks probably is the job indexing server that we've built. And I'll take just a minute to explain what it does, because I think it's very interesting and cool for you guys to understand as well. Because what Nosana does is we're building this GPU network on top of the blockchain and specifically Solana. And what Solana does is it does just a hell lot of transactions cheaply and fast. It also means that it's kind of hard to read what's going on Solana. Solana is just doing so many things concurrently that it's quite hard to query the blockchain to get certain data about what's happening on chain. So what companies do to overcome this, like Nosana, as in our case, everything that happens on the network is on chain, nodes that register, deployments that get done. They're all like happening on this chain and going rapidly, and they're kind of hard to read. So companies normally build like databases that index the data that's relevant for their project, and then expose that in some kind of API service. We've been doing that at Nosana, so we have an API available that clients use to see the state of the network. But this indexing service that we've now built is going to be released to the public. It means that anyone can run it themselves. But they can run an indexer that does this job of reading the blockchain and exposing that data in a readable format, which means that that companies and users don't have to rely on Nosana to do this for them. Especially bigger clients, they would want to have this in their own hands in case that our server goes down. They will be able to have their own job indexer running that they can rely on and be sure that whatever happens, their service will be up and running, and it's in their own hands. They don't have to rely on external parties, which is the goal, right? So I'm quite excited about this one. We're going to release this open source. We're going to release some documentation how to run it, and I'm excited to see some community-run indexers, maybe even some enterprise-run indexers that are out there to use next to the one that Nosana offers. Those are the main highlights that are going on. I'll hand it back to Dennis now.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Yossi. It was quite a bit. Thank you for covering all of these. Super bullish, I'm assuming, for everyone who's listening. We didn't cover our product updates in detail so much for quite a while, and I'm sure you will appreciate this. Now, moving on to some other things that we've been doing this quarter, I guess. And these are some of our partners from the previous quarter. So we met with Vertical and we're working with Ask Jimmy, and our newest one is Exabits, who quite recently, like just a couple of days ago, we had an AMA with our developer, with David, who's here on the call with us. And they had a very interesting AMA session, and they did speak a little what this collaboration means between the teams. So this is definitely something you should check out. Right here on Discord, you have a little channel all the way up above. It's called Recaps and Summaries, and over there you can find this recording and just play the spaces when you're doing something in the background. You want to listen in, maybe learn more about Nosana or learn more about Exhibits. This is the perfect place to do so, because you get a lot of this info where you can't really find it anywhere else, and I think that's really good to keep an eye on. Moving forward, we're going on to events, and there was a lot of events. I mean, a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean I literally couldn't fit all of them on the screen for the quarter. I'm missing a couple of them. David was almost at every single one. So David, I'm gonna leave you to cover some of the ones you went towards. The only place I went to was Istanbul and Berlin, but we're gonna talk more about those a little bit. David, I'm gonna leave you the stage and you tell us a little bit about these events that we attended this quarter.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Indeed, so as you can see, we've been to quite a few events in the past couple of months. They range all the way from the very specifically blockchain and Web3 conferences to more developer conferences, and also more AI focused meetups and groups. As we've mentioned before, this year we're focusing a bit more on integrating ourselves within these AI and ML communities and developer communities, because we think at the end of the day, that's where our bread and butter is going to be made. We want to be talking and integrating and onboarding clients that are spinning up AI and machine learning workloads. And even though we're natively a Web3 project, we want to onboard these machine learning developers. So that's why we've been consistently trying to get into these spaces and build trust with developers, which is a difficult task. Building trust with developers is it requires a lot of hand-holding. It requires a lot of documentation. It requires, especially as a Web3 project, to showcase that what we're building, the product that we're building, is valuable and it really solves pain points that they encounter every day. So in that sense, we have to really talk to people. So for example, in July, we went to the World Developer Conference in Berlin. We had a booth and we spoke to many developers where we got to really shake the hands and speak to different people from the industry, from all walks of life, from students to senior developers to managers and other executives, to really present ourselves and talk to people about what their pain points are and how Nosana can actually potentially help them. There was a lot of interest, and people seemed really interested in what we were building. This whole idea of a decentralized computer was actually quite new to a lot of this audience. It's really paying off that we're trying to integrate ourselves within these spaces, because we don't see any other blockchain or Web3 project doing this strategy at the moment, trying to speak to these audiences. And so we are the first often to introduce this idea to this audience, and it's really paying off. We've managed to generate a lot of leads from going to this conference, and we'll be repeating this strategy again throughout this year in order to onboard and integrate with this audience instead of going to blockchain conferences, which we'll still be doing, but like this is really our main focus for this year. And also going to other, give more workshops and presentations for this audience. We also went to Super AI, which is also a huge AI conference in Singapore. It happens every year. And Jesse went to that specific conference, and I think he can speak a bit more about how that went. But besides that, we went to the Dutch Blockchain Week as well. We did a hackathon. I think people used the Nosana Compute Network in order to build a use case for the Dutch police, if I'm not mistaken. And we also gave a presentation at the Solana Apex event in Budapest. So yeah, this is slowly but surely we're building brand recognition. We're putting ourselves out there, and more people are getting to know what Nosana is and what we're doing and what we're building and why we're important.
I don't have I won't say too much about Super AI, but maybe just a little highlight. Really fun to hang out on AI conferences next to crypto conferences. That's where our user base is mainly at. And my highlight of the Super AI was next. I did a nice keynote there that I think was really well received. But there were these three students that came to our booth, and they were like ecstatic, excited to see us, and they were so thankful because they had the story that they basically thanked us for being able to graduate, because they were like, they quit their thesis and they needed to run this experiment on GPUs to finish their AI university project. And then they found Nosana and they were able to run that in the middle of the night, last minute, and actually graduate. And they were like, yeah, they were so excited to have us do that. So that was my favorite little anecdote that I have from the conference. But yeah, the conferences were very like yeah, it's been very good for Nosana to be there.
I think it's very good that we find that students appreciate, what Nosana is doing, because with students we have a lot of future builders, a lot of future developers and AI engineers, and for example in Berlin, which was quite big. We had a lot of young developers, young students coming in, young builders, being interested in how this works. And once we explained the concept, a lot of them were very excited because previously they would use more expensive solutions like AWS or Google, and they would complain how running these jobs and using their GPU compute was so expensive, it just wasn't possible as a student. It wasn't affordable. So having students
Yeah,
openly say these things, it's very exciting.
absolutely. And it's also, I personally really enjoy being in these AI and machine learning spaces as well. It reminds me a lot of the early days of blockchain and Web3, where a lot of people were genuinely excited about the technology and were genuinely excited about what the potential of the things that we can build using these new primitives. So it's a really great space to be in, to get inspired and to be motivated. So I encourage everyone here to, if you have a chance, to also go to a AI machine learning meetup and talk to people and see what's happening in the space and see what kind of innovations are happening at the edge.
Speaking of future conferences and summits, we'll be somewhere in August. We're gonna be at the hometown, at the office in Amsterdam for 28th and 29th of August. I think both of you gentlemen are gonna be there, if I'm correct, so maybe you can tell me more about it.
That's right. Yeah, we'll be there. It's indeed the Open Source Gen AI ML Summit. A very nice conference. It's hosted by the Linux Foundation. Very technical. And once again, a conference for Nosana where we can directly speak with clients that really want to run workloads on GPUs. It's very like it is not Web3 at all. It's very classic Web2, but a serious, really good conference. We are a sponsor. We have a booth there. It will be yeah. If you're in town, I would recommend visiting the conference and meeting us there. Excited for that one, yeah. And I think in August is the only one that we attend to, at least the bigger conference. But there's more to come after. And I think yeah, we'll be there with at least part of the team. But me personally will be there. David will be there, and some more team members.
Awesome. So for the next one, David, this is where I leave you with the stuff. We've been doing the Nosana Builders Challenges. This is, I think, one of the most successful things we did this quarter. Launching the first one, where we had some nice initial numbers, getting things off the ground, and the second one basically exploding and exceeding all of our expectations. So David, this is you. Take it off.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Indeed. No, this is only because of all of the hard work that the developers have been doing at Nosana. None of this wouldn't have been possible without all of the hard work of Lawrence, Matt, Jair, um, Daniel. We have a lot of people working very hard every single week to push out new features and like to slowly mature our product and build the things necessary in order to make such events possible. But indeed, we've hosted this year, we're focusing on doing builders challenges. They're just basically mini hackathons spaced over the period of 2 to 4 weeks in order to kind of get people to use Nosana in different ways. So for example, with the first challenge, we did a job definition challenge where people needed to submit job definitions in order to run workloads on Nosana. But with the second challenge, we wanted to focus in a bit more with what's happening and go on to and hop onto the hype train about agents. A lot of people are very interested right now in how they can build their own agents. And so we really focused in on getting people to build agents and deploy them to Nosana. And so that we can teach people how they can leverage Nosana in order to run this, this new primitive that everyone is talking about. So as you can see, we had over 229 forks of the GitHub repository. So there was a lot of interest from the community in general. We had quite a few people as well hop onto the Discord channel to talk about it. And at the end of the day, we managed to get almost 60 submissions, which is, I think, a 300% increase from last time. With all of that as well, we ran a survey as well to gather as much data as possible from all of the people that have had first-hand experience using Nosana in order to identify pain points, because we've been looking at this for so long, so it's difficult for us sometimes to really figure out how we can improve our product. So we're really trying to gather as much feedback as possible from all of the people who are using Nosana. And from all of those survey respondents, there does seem to be a little bit of a product market fit. A lot of the survey respondents did say that they would recommend Nosana to a friend or a colleague. So we're heading in the right direction. And so that's was a really nice check to see that we're going in the right direction. So we'll be continuing with these builders challenges for now as well. And we'll be doing the next one somewhere in September. And we already have a partner lined up as well to do it. Can we go to the next slide, please? So these are then the top 3 winners. We have the Master Bolt AI agent. It's a generic agent that allows you to deploy other agents on top of Nosana. That's a really interesting meta deployer, right? The second one is also the same concept, but the way that they managed to build out their agents, the way that they managed to integrate MCPs, they created this really interesting product that really showcases what is possible when you try to build agents on top of Nosana, that you are able to unlock these features that aren't as easy to unlock using your traditional cloud provider. And as well, with the third place, there was this health and wellness agent, which was also very brilliantly built. Really great technical skills in making a agent that can actually help you live a more healthy and sustainable life. So it's great to see what people are trying to do and how we're using these tools in order to improve our lives. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just answering some questions. There we go.
And of those 60 submissions, you can kind of see as well what the distribution is. So almost 50% of all of the submissions were kind of DeFi focused and trading tools focused. A lot of people in the space are trying to build tools to identify potential profits within the market. We have a lot of degens and token people who are interested in using agents in order to make it profit. We're also a lot of people who are focused in on creating AI infrastructure tools, and a lot of people who are focused in on development and code tools, developers creating tools for other developers, and also a lot of business use cases. And this also helps us a little bit with guiding how we should be building our product. It guides us in which demographic we should be looking at, and to kind of refine our marketing materials as well as we move forward. But we did notice that there was quite a lot of people from Nigeria and India as well, which also tells us a little bit that we need to open up our marketing channels and in order to get a wider coverage from users from other geographic regions. But it also shows us that we have a strong community within those countries, such as India and Nigeria, which are growing, very fast-growing economies. There's lots of talents within those economies and those areas. And so we also want to stimulate local growth and create these local chapters as well that of people who want to evangelize Nosana so that we can keep on growing.
Oh yeah,
Can we
absolutely.
go to the next slide, please?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is where I go in. I gotta do the spinning. So we did the little survey, and we did promise a little reward for one of the random contestants of the survey. There we go. This is it. Okay,
Yes.
I don't need to do anything.
Yes, that's right.
All
So
right. So it's ready.
we'll be giving away some funds, and
Giving away some fun funds. All right. Are we giving one reward, right? Which one was it?
it's 5.
Five
So,
times? 5
you need to click
spins?
it 5 times.
I'm gonna spin 5
5 spins,
times?
yes.
Wow, this is great. All right, first spin. Here goes nothing.
Uh,
All right, number 1. All right, this is the first one.
So what is the reward for this spin?
What?
What is
so
the reward?
it's 20 USDC
20
for
USDC.
each person who submitted the survey.
All right, we spin again. I just remembered we gave away. I don't know why my camera's glitching. My camera's glitching a lot for the recording. There's gonna be a lot of weird stuff in the YouTube. We got another one. There we go. This is number 2. These are all anonymous. It could be anyone. All right. The raffle for we gave away a Lego set in Berlin. That was very fun. We found it very entertaining. There was more than 100 people who signed up. I think it was 200 people signed up for the raffle. We got winner number 3. There we go. 200 people signed up for the raffle, and on the last day, on Friday in Berlin, they showed up, and it was just a crowd of people just waiting, and we gave those away. So that was pretty fun. All right, this is number.
And the Lego sets seem to be very popular in the space.
Oh yeah,
a lot of
people just love
showed
Lego
up,
sets. And what the worst thing is, we
lots
weren't
of
even.
excitement.
There was multiple giveaways at the same time. Right? There was like one of them was at also 2 p.m. and one of them was at 2:30 or something. So people were giving away a lot of stuff. I need one more, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, one more.
One more.
One more.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah, we wanted to do this live, so like everybody here can see that we're not trying to scam.
What if these
the
are
people
all my
participated
addresses?
in the survey.
There we go.
Oh, fantastic!
We got
have
our
all of
5
them.
winners.
Thank you, Dennis.
Big clap for the winners. I don't know if they're here in the call. Honestly, I'm not sure I would recognize my own address anyway. So some of them might have won and not even realize it. So check these addresses, guys. It might be one of yours. All right. With the winners out of the way.
We'll be reaching out and giving out the funds today.
Yeah, I'll push out an announcement. All right. There we're gonna go back to the presentation. Slideshow. All right. It's time to continue this. Okay, do you want to cover a bit of this? Or did we cover it on the last one? Kind of.
Yeah, so indeed, these are the stats. We're very focused on growing the stars on our GitHub repositories as well. So please, anybody here, if you haven't started our GitHub repositories yet, this is a formal request that you would do so. Like, it really helps us to kind of get a bit more legitimacy with other developers as well, and it really helps the project to grow. So please do go to our GitHub and start our repositories. And we've also gotten quite a few posts on X as well for the Nosana Agent Challenge. And so we're slowly but surely making waves, and we're figuring out how to leverage these builders challenges in order to really create some momentum and make a wave on all of these different platforms.
All right, here comes the fun part. Here comes my job. You guys are gonna be excited about this one. We had some cool stuff in Q2, because that's the only quarter I was in since I joined 4 months ago. So here's a couple of cool stuff you might like. I'm assuming most of you were around to see the little changes that were happening. I won't go too much into detail. I'm just gonna briefly explain some things that were going on. So firstly, assemble the machine. This is the special Nosana rewards program campaign thingy that I'm running currently. We started at the beginning of July, basically. So this has been a month-long campaign where people on our Discord earn points for being active participants, for helping out with our Twitter activities, for joining calls like this one, or joining spaces, or generally just being, good fellas around the community, helping each other out, giving some suggestions, giving some feedback, all around that cool stuff. Also, some points were given away to some of the winners of the builder challenges, the second one primarily, and this enables you to go up the ranks. So there's 5 ranks. You start from with the core, and then you have the arms and the legs, and then you have the armor, and then finally you get yourself the brain, which is the 5th one. And this is where you enter the elite territory, and this is where you get some sweet rewards. I still can't spoil what it is, but we're working on getting you some cool stuff, and you're gonna know more once we get closer to the end of the season, which is gonna be sometimes probably in September or maybe even October. But you know, we're gonna let you know call by call, and I'm gonna be super active on these, so you're not gonna miss anything. Another one, which is the community calls and team calls. Those who have been here for the last 2 months know that we launched these little specialized campaigns where we ask the community to vote for the next team of the month, where we either invite some guests or we do some workshops ourselves. 2 months ago, we had a build with Nosana, where our AI engineer case, where he showed you some cool stuff on the dashboard in Nosana and teaching you how to deploy jobs and all around fun. You can still actually find that on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So if you go over to recaps and summaries, if you scroll upwards, you can find the YouTube channel. And also if you go to the what's it called, like the important links at the top of the Discord, you can find the playlist of the community calls starting from 2 months ago, so you can also find that one there. And last month we had Super Team Poland and Super Team Balkan as guests talking about community building and some cool stuff. And we decided to switch them in a way that we're going to focus on giving you a longer and more higher quality community call, and also give you a team call in the same month. So usually how it's going to look like, the format is going to be at the end of the last Thursday of the month, we're going to have community calls. And somewhere in the middle of the month, we're going to have these team calls. The only exception is going to be basically next call, as I'm going to be on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to be missing that one. But, you know, after that, we're going to be up to speed. So you're going to have some cool stuff every 2 weeks to keep you more entertained. And what's coming soon? People have been asking, even in the chat, everyone wants to know, when are we going to do the ambassador program, which I have been talking about for months now. And I know you guys have been waiting. I know there's a lot of cool community members from all around. I know there's some cool people from Brazil. I know there's some cool people from Pakistan. I know there's some cool people from Nigeria, Europe, most places. A lot of people have been asking. So here I am going to give you some alpha leaks. Because in the last couple of months, what I was doing is I was establishing the community foundation. So I was making sure that we are all together in the same boat, that we're all up to speed, that we are all earning some nice points, rewards, and being engaged with Nosana and being familiar with what we're doing here. And now finally, after we did some stuff internally as well, and we have some cool things coming forward in the next couple of months, we're going to be slowly introducing what is mostly known as an ambassador program, where we're gonna pick a couple of candidates of each country that has a lot of representatives of Nosana, and give one of them an ambassador role and open these regional channels, which are gonna make it a lot easier for non-English speakers to get introduced to Nosana. And even down the road, we're talking about some, maybe not even near future, but even later down the road, we're gonna try doing some cool stuff like local hackathons or local builders challenges, maybe some stuff like that, because there is a couple of communities that I have talked to that are interested in this. So over the next couple of months, you're gonna be seeing more and more of us going towards these little regional channels and regional communities, and I'm excited about that, and I hope you stay for the ride to see how it looks like. We're definitely going to need some active members to represent the regional areas they're in, so keep an eye out and you might just be the lucky one. Next one, poker nights. So last week I tested out some stuff about poker, because everyone seems to love poker, and I was hoping to actually have it ready this week, but unfortunately, since I go to vacation, I'm not gonna be here for a while. So the next poker night, is gonna be actually the next month sometime, possibly just after the community call. So maybe like during the end of August, there's probably gonna be a nice poker tournament, and we're gonna chip in some cool rewards to make it more fun and engaging. Open the voice chat, have some fun, keep it casual, do nothing serious, just do some good old community fun. And actually, that's it from the community side. So what's next? Well, what's next? So we're gonna have a community call, obviously, last Thursday of the next month. We're also gonna be looking to have a team call, which is gonna be having a certain guest from a certain Solana project joining us, and we're gonna be talking about some cool stuff. We're definitely gonna keep you in the know. The project updates about what's next, you've seen it, you heard about them, so keep your eye out. Ambassador program, everything else that's gonna be also coming in their due time. And I think that's it from the community side and also from the project side. If anyone else from the team has anything else to add, I guess, to maybe keep the community excited, now is the best time. If not, we're ready to.
Very clear. Exciting stuff there, Dennis. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be at the poker night myself.
All right,
Most likely.
some cool poker
Happy
stuff.
we're doing those. Yeah, on product side, yeah, I think we've explained enough, but I'm very excited to go out there to more conferences, to speak with more students and AI engineers and startups and have compute credits ready and all these product updates that we've been working so hard on and get out there and get them get them on the platform. So
absolutely.
exciting stuff.
By the way, guys, before I end the call, if you know a certain project that's on the Solana system or that might be a deep-end project or might have some similarities to us and you feel like they should be a guest on the call, you can always recommend them to me in the general chat or in the suggestions channel anywhere, and I'll see if I can reach out to them and maybe bring them on as a special guest on our next team call. So that's also something interesting. And with that, I'm gonna wrap up. It's been almost an hour, so we're perfectly on the dot. It's an hour of the community call covering Q2, and I hope you guys are excited as we are for the near future, because there's been a lot of things developed, a lot of foundations have been set, and now we're just gonna be working outwards more and more. And yeah, we're quite excited about this one. And thank you everyone for joining the call. Hope to see you next month, and behave until I come back from my vacation. I'm going to Cuba, do some swimming. So when I come back, I want to see a fun community still being active, and we're gonna go play some poker. All right.
Thanks, guys. Till next time.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Dennis. Thank you for hosting the space, and thank you everyone for joining.
All right, gentlemen. You have a nice day.